Well, I want to welcome everybody and thank you for coming here. We're a small group, but that's okay. My name is Teresa Doty. I'm the Associate Dean here in the College of Education. I oversee teacher education, and I'm also the new Purdue Director of the STEM Goes Rural Woodrow Wilson Fellowship Program. Basically, I have that title, but these other people are the ones who run it. They're the ones who know the ins and outs because they've been doing it since the very first cohort of graduate students we've had here. But this has been a very successful program that we've had here. We've got some amazing faculty who are really invested in preparing students, content specialists, into going into these STEM fields in education. And the students who have gone before have been very successful. They have all found placements. Well, they haven't. He has assisted in finding them placements throughout the state in rural areas where we have a real need for really good STEM teachers. And so it's very exciting. I think to date we've had, what, 53 students go through. And the current cohort, they're about to be placed next semester in their first teaching experiences, and then starting next fall they will be full-time employed in schools with ongoing coaching to make sure that they're successful and they get questions answered, but they get the support they need to be really successful in the classroom. So we're excited you all are here and are interested in hearing about what we're doing, and I'll let Kathy move on, and we'll come back in just a few minutes.
We're going to listen to one of our cohorts.
Hello, I'm Candace Kissinger. I teach 8th grade science, and I also teach a course called Integrated Chemistry and Physics. Why do I teach science? Well, it's an encore career for me. I spent, I guess, a total of 40 years now being a professional scientist. And I retired from that field and decided I wasn't quite finished yet. And I have been teaching, certainly adults, for most of my...
Hang on. I had this problem earlier, and I didn't
Why
quite
did
know
it do that?
why.
That was strange.
Yeah, it starts
Something
it and
with
then
the
it
plug-in.
stops it. So I'm going to let it run for a little bit longer and see if that helps. Before I make it full screen, see if that seemed to
Maybe
help.
just leave it just
Hello,
like
I'm
that.
Candace Kissinger. I teach 8th grade science, and I also teach a course called Integrated Chemistry and Physics. Why do I teach science? Well, it's an encore career for me. I spent, I guess, a total of 40 years now being a professional scientist. And I retired from that field and decided I wasn't quite finished yet. And I have been teaching, certainly adults, for most of my adult life as part of my science career. And I thought I could do a little bit more, and I was concerned about the state of science in the United States, and thought, well, maybe there's something I can contribute to that. I'm here not just for the students, who I am trying to help as much as I can, but I'm also here for the teachers. I'm here for the teachers because the experiences that I have can help them. I have curricular ideas, lesson plans, and I also want to support what they're doing because I believe in that very much. So although mine will be a short career, just because the clock is ticking for me, I'm going to contribute as much as I can in that short period of time. I also teach science because I believe in the future. I believe in the future of our species, and I believe we need knowledge to survive, and science is ultimately the pursuit of knowledge. I need to have students learn how to think, and I'd like to have them think critically and skeptically about what they hear, so they can protect themselves as they go forward, so they can hear technical information and scientific information and learn to discern between truth and falsehood. And also the people who should be leading them in these technical areas and making these decisions for them.
And so where is she teaching now?
She was at Tecumseh Junior High, and she just retired.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I'll tell you, one of the exciting things that we've seen is we have not only new graduates from these content areas who have decided that teaching is really where they want to be, enter into this kind of a program. But we've also had career changers like Candace who have been out in the field and doing things in industry and have decided, you know what, teaching is really my calling. I actually met last fall a woman, she's actually in another program in the state, but she was an engineer for several years, and she said, you know what, it was something that I knew I needed to do as an undergrad, but it's, as an adult out here in the engineering world, it's just not my passion. And she said, I always wanted to teach. And so she is now going through one of the fellowship programs to become a math teacher. And so she has all the content knowledge, but now she's learning the teaching skills and getting the support as she moves into the classroom. And so it's really exciting to see an array of experts who are coming together to move into the teaching field, because they can really have a considerable impact on children across Indiana, across the country. And in fact, we were at a convening in July in Chicago with people from across the country who are in the Woodrow Wilson Fellowship programs, and Art Levine, who is the president of the Woodrow Wilson Foundation, spoke to the group. And one of the things that stuck out in my head was he had folks who raised their hand who were in their first year of teaching, second year, third year, and he said, do you realize how many children just this group are impacting just in the last 5 years? And it's incredible when the thousands of kids who are impacted by about 500 fellows across each of the states where this fellowship program is occurring. And so it was really exciting because it continues to roll out. And with Purdue's program, we're focusing on those rural schools where there is a considerable need for outstanding teachers, and especially outstanding teachers in STEM fields, because they don't get folks who are purposely moving there unless their family is moving there, and that means their kids are not getting these experts who can really prepare them for that next level of learning. So it's exciting. One of the things I do want to do is I want to go around the room so everybody can introduce themselves, and we'll start with Kathy.
I'm Kathy Dietz. I'm the director of the graduate office. So we work with recruiting for STEM Goes Rural, and then we help you once you're recommended by Woodrow Wilson and by the faculty here. Then I help you get admitted again to Purdue at the graduate level, and kind of follow you through and help you with registration and paperwork and things like that.
Mm-hmm. She's a key person to know.
I'm David Eichinger. I'm a faculty member here in biology education, and I've been working with the STEM Goes Rural program since its inception here at Purdue.
Key faculty member. I'm Teresa. I'm
John Hill. I'm the liaison person for the program, so I will be your general advisor if you're in the program, and I'm the person that kind of puts things together between the schools and the university. And in my second life, I'm executive director of the National Rural Education Association. So we just got back from a couple of national meetings, and I think as Purdue, we're really proud of what we do, because we're the only one in America right now that does this sort of thing for rural schools.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
So it's really establishing a model that we hope others will follow.
My name is Eric Beadle. I'm with the Woodrow Wilson Foundation. I am based out of Indianapolis and help run Indiana.
Okay.
So, as I think we kind of presented, this program has been in Indiana for a while. This is the 7th year. This is our 7th class that we're recruiting that will begin classes next summer of 2015. And we're just extremely proud of what has occurred here in Indiana and what has occurred at Purdue. It is our bellwether for rural, and when anyone is interested in thinking about a rural, we say go to Purdue. And this, thanks to your president, Mr. Daniels, President Daniels, he invited Woodrow Wilson to come here and help get this program started in Indiana. So it's a program that was initially funded by the Lilly Endowment and is now funded by the state, which we're also very proud of, that the state now recognizes the need to find and get motivated teachers into the classroom, both in the urban community as well as high needs rural community. Indiana has 92 counties, as you probably know. We have fellows in 42 of those counties. And a lot of that is credit to Purdue because of the touch and the reach that they've done with the rural program. We have almost 300 total now STEM fellows. We have 300 fellows now in Indiana through the STEM program, and that includes the cohort that's going through classes right now. It is a process that you will learn about tonight. It is you will need to fill out an application. There are deadlines. There are face-to-face interviews that will occur, and it is a program that's intensive. And in fact, if you have a chance to talk to any of the fellows, you'll find out most of them will tell you it's one tough year that you're going to be going through if you decide to apply and get accepted. But the rewards are great, and placement and jobs are not a problem. We are in dire need of STEM teachers in our school system.
Yeah, I think John's up next.
Well, here we go.
Yeah.
So we'll divide this up into 3 parts, but
You can.
I'm not going to read those to you because I think if you can't read it, then you probably can't do
You're
it.
not going to do all the
But
application.
the bottom line is that we, we're looking for people that really want to have an impact on children, especially in the STEM areas. Our rural schools, we've worked with the foundation. I just went through a thing at the federal level. There are about 30 or 40 definitions for rural in the laws, but we have pretty well negotiated for you that if you're in a census, teaching a census locale code 31, 32, 33, which are basically small towns, or 41, 42, 43, which are basically rural areas, they use the word rural in the definition, then that's the first step. The second step is then it has to be a high-need school. And so a high-need school for your purposes in getting a job would be a school that is a Title I school or a school whose feeder schools are Title I schools, because every district has the opportunity to choose how they want to spend it.
Do you all know what Title I schools are?
That means they have a high percentage of free and reduced children, low economic, high level of poor people. That's really what it boils down to.
Yeah.
And so we've worked that out for you, and each year we create a list of those buildings for you so that you'll find that there are lots of schools that qualify in Indiana for those things. You will, Dave's one of our people that teaches methods in biology, but you will be taught the latest in methods. You'll probably be taught to teach things in ways that you weren't taught in your particular building, and that's the way it should be, because times are changing pretty fast. You'll be, we'll work with you on how to manage your time, because if there's something about teaching that's really different, and career changers find out they have to work a lot harder teaching than they did in some of the other jobs that they've had. And that's okay. That's what it's all about. So we're here to get you ready, and we're here to help you. And I remember when I was working on my doctorate, my major professor said, look, we're going to help you through this program. You're going to make it. We'll advise you, and you're going to do all the work. And that's how you get better. That's how you really make it when you work at it that way. So that's pretty much what it's all about. You'll have a sheet. I think yours may be colored, mine's black and white. But this kind of tells you the things that we're going to study. So you start in June of one summer, and then about 3 years later or 4 years later, you're done. So let's kind of walk through this. You'll still be alive and have a job.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, that first summer you come in, it's going to be a busy summer because you get to take 3 courses during that summer. And so pretty much it's an intro course, a multicultural education course, and an advanced ed psych course. The advanced ed psych course, really, you're going to learn about how people learn, what motivates people, and some introduction into some classroom management based upon those principles. In the fall, you are fortunate that you'll have a seminar with me for the entire semester. This will be the highlight of your fall semester. And but it's kind of a general introduction into the whole thing of teaching, and you spend 2 full days a week in a classroom, in a rural classroom in Indiana. And when possible, for some of you, we try to locate in a school that might have all the grades 7 through 12, so you can get a middle school experience and a high school experience, because you might end up in one or the other when it's all said and done. You'll have some methods courses, and again, you'll be asked to do some things, and we've tried to provide enough time during those days that you're in the classroom that not only can you complete the assignments for your seminar, but you can complete the assignments for your methods courses, and we all work together on that. For the science people, if you're a biology person, you know, you get your license in biology, you'll probably teach biology full-time. If you're a chemistry person, we will advise you to focus on chemistry, but we'll advise you that once you get that chemistry license to pick up a second subject area. Because in some of the rural schools, there just aren't going to be enough chemistry classes to hire you full-time. So you pick up a physics or a biology license or a whatever, so that you can teach a full load. And you can also teach middle school. For the math people, it pretty well works out that if you have a math license, you're going to teach a full schedule of math. Although some of our math people have picked up a second subject area in physics, and that works out well for them too. So, but we'll guide you through that. But our advice to you is, as you're going through the program, focus on one area and then pick up the other one once you get your first license. In the spring semester, the first 6 weeks, you'll have a classroom management class, you'll have a second seminar with me, and that's pretty much online with some exceptions, because part of that seminar is to get you ready for your job search. And so we're going to work through resumes, we're going to work through letters of introduction, we're going to do practice interviews. You know, our job is to get you ready. And then part of that class is also to monitor what's going on during your student teaching, and we have a way to do that. And then you'll have some more methods classes, and some people take they take their elective during their fall semester, I think it is.
You almost have to.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
if you're a math person and you haven't had the Purdue geometry course, your elective will probably be Purdue geometry, because we teach geometry better here than any other place in the whole world. And I say that facetiously, but there is some truth to it. And you'll hear the fellows grouse about that a little bit. But the thing that happens is they learn how to think. And we want people to learn how to think, because good thinkers make good teachers of thinking. And then in the spring semester, then you'll finish up with 10 weeks of student teaching after you have those first 6 weeks of methods. And second summer, you'll have some more seminars. And in your last seminar, you are going to prepare for your job. You're going to outline all the things you're going to teach during the entire year in one of the subjects that you'll be assigned. You're going to develop 2 unit plans ahead of time, so that when you walk into work the first day, you're ahead of the game. You're not behind the game. But we'll also hit a lot of topics about, you know, one of the things we'll do is you'll walk in and we'll say, you've been through student teaching, what are all the things that we haven't done a good job of getting you ready for? And then we're going to cover those things during that seminar to make sure that you're really ready when you go out there. During that second year, you're teaching, but you're taking an online course. That online course is preparing you for your portfolio for your master's degree. And then you also have a generalist coach who's coming around, and the reason we have a generalist coach is because most of the problems that first-year teachers have aren't with the subject matter, it's with things like time management, classroom management. It's just figuring out how it works to be a full-time teacher. So we'll have a coach to help you do that. Second year, or during that next summer, you'll come in and defend your portfolio, so you'll earn your master's degree. Then you'll go back and you'll teach another year, and you'll have a content area coach that will work with you, so that if you needed help in science, we'll have in fact, the lady we have is a coach for all sciences, because she was a career changer person. She was, I think, a ranger, worked in Michigan in the state parks. She came back and she became the science teacher for New Harmony schools. New Harmony Schools at one time was the next to the smallest school district in Indiana. She was the science teacher for the school district. They had 100 students in grades K through 12 in that particular district. So she taught all the sciences. And we will have some jobs that in some of our districts. We have a fellow down at Lanesville where Rebecca is the science teacher for Lanesville High School and junior high. So we'll have that. So anyway, we'll have a coach for you. Then you'll develop a professional development plan, and the third year that you're teaching, we'll put together a grant that you can apply for to support you in your improvement. And if you still need some help, we can call on the services of one of the coaches to help you during that third year. So, you know, first year, academic year, both summers, we're getting you ready. Your first year of teaching, we're coaching you and we're getting you ready to defend your master's. Next summer, you defend your master's. Next year, we're coaching you with content. And your third year, we're working on professional development and offering you support there. So that's a big part of it. So your commitment to teach is 3 years. It's in a high-need school. We've talked about that. It will be in a rural community. And I wish I could sit here and I could promise you all a job where you want it. But I can't, because in Indiana, the local school district hires. But we will be here to coach you through that whole process. Dave and I a lot of times receive calls of openings that aren't posted on a state site. They're not posted on a lot of websites. They just call us and say, we need a chemistry teacher, we need a biology teacher, we need a math teacher. And of course, they'll always say, send us your best people for the interview, something along that line. But we'll get those out to you. And I will sit down and talk with you, and we'll kind of map out where you think you want to teach in the state, but I can't guarantee a specific district. But, you know, for those who are married, sometimes we have to look like within an hour of where they live. And sometimes we have to talk about, you know, if you just moved here, then your husband would be 30 miles away and you'd be, or 30 minutes away, you'd be 30 minutes away, and everybody could be happier. But, you know, those are your choices. All we can do is just advise you. And then you can do with the advice what you want. But we're just here to help you. That's really what it boils down to. So, I will shut up and answer questions. We can all answer questions. That's our job.
Well, let's get David in here before we start on
Mention a
questions,
few
and then
more
we'll
things
finish
about
up.
the master's degree. A couple of things, maybe you picked up on these as we've talked about this program, that I think make it really unique. One is something that John was just talking about quite a bit, the coaching that's an integral part of this program. If you were an undergraduate going through a traditional teacher education program, even here at Purdue, you finish your degree, you find your first full-time job, and you're pretty much on your own. There isn't any kind of dedicated professional support and coaching to help you get through the first year, the second year, whatever it might be. This program, as John pointed out, has that coaching built into it, and it has from the very beginning. And I think that's one of the things that lends to the success that we've had.
Absolutely.
The number of people who've successfully gone through the program, the number of people who have remained in the classroom once they've done this, and now we're seeing, we are far enough into this program that we're seeing fellows who have completed their 3-year commitment to teaching, which is one of the requirements, and they're still in the classroom. This truly is their calling, as you were mentioning. And I think a big part of that is the coaching support that's there. So that's one piece that's unique. Another piece is that within the first 2 years of this program, as John pointed out, you can not only earn your teaching license, and that's your primary focus during that first year, but then all the coursework that you're doing in that first year is contributing towards your master's program, a non-thesis master's program. The second year of the program, this is when you're doing your full-time teaching. As was pointed out, you have an online seminar that you're participating in, which is also contributing to your master's degree. And the assignments for that online seminar throughout that year are helping you put together the components of a professional portfolio that's a requirement for the master's degree. So from the coursework that you've done, the experiences that you've had, all of those are contributing to this master's portfolio. And then you will, in this process, identify a faculty committee, 3 faculty members who will advise you, but also will be your examining committee during that second summer. And that's the group that will be with you as you defend your master's portfolio. But the reason I think that's kind of unique is that we've tried to figure out a way that we can condense the time frame for earning the teaching license into 1 calendar year. And then all of the work that you're doing for that component is also contributing to the master's degree. So as you go through the program, not only will Kathy be guiding you on here are the courses that you need to be taking each and every semester, at least to get you started. She's a huge help with that. John's going to be giving you advice on helping you identify locations for the first full-time teaching job that you're doing. But the other faculty who are part of this program will also be helping to guide you through the meeting the requirements for the master's degree too.
Lots of support. And I tell you, our students who go through traditional master's programs don't get this kind of support, so they're special. I think what's really interesting is that our classrooms, people have a preconceived notion of what it's like to be in a classroom. And I know it's funny when I hear our undergrads talk about, well, I'm so excited because I want to go decorate my bulletin board. It's like, okay, but you've got to think about how you're going to manage your class and, you know, and the lessons you need to develop. And I think what's so exciting is the fact that there is that support there that guides you through all of that. So you're not just, here you go, here's your classroom, go for it. You actually have that kind of intensive support, and it's not just for a one-shot deal. It's for the first couple of years, which is unheard of. We just don't see that. So. Questions?
The prompt.
So what kind of questions do y'all have?
Well, to start off with, the 3-year commitment. I'm assuming that starts after all these 3 years are done?
No.
It's 3 years in the classroom. So you'll be here for a full year getting prepared to teach. So
Okay.
your first year in the classrooms while you're working on your master's, that's year 1. Second year is that you're completed your master's, but we'll still have a coach with you. Third year, we're going to have a grant for you so that you can work on improving yourself even more. So when you get those 3 years done, you've completed your 3-year commitment in the classroom.
I thought it was 3 years commitment after.
No.
So
No.
we
Built
would
in.
just say it's a full.
No, that's the second commitment. That's called lifetime.
Yeah, then it's really your decision.
So on your chart here, it's what's indicated as years 2, 3, and 4. That's
Right.
fulfilling the requirement that John was just talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's all built in. What else you got for us?
The application process has begun. The application was opened on July the 1st, so now is the time to be completing that application. It obviously requires some referrals and those kind of things. It can be time consuming. The deadline is the end of January, January the 30th. We oftentimes keep it open another week or so, but there's no guarantee to that. So January the 30th is the deadline. And then the process begins really as soon as we get the application completed. So there are people right now who will be interviewed, discussed, and met with to talk about moving forward. And that's the process that's just ongoing. We try to make sure that we have everything wrapped up with the universities by March, sometime in March. And you would then know sometime in late March, early April at the latest, if you were one of the last, if you got your application in.
Now, I know that if I were applying for this, one of the questions that I would have would be about the money. It's like, what is the fellowship amount and what other kind of supports are available? Is that a question you guys would have? Well, as you can see, I don't know if it says it on the flyer, but if you are awarded a fellowship, it's $30,000, and that money is typically used for just to offset living costs, but also any supplemental fees that might go along with school. Right now, we have a guarantee, at least for this next year, and each year we go back to the grad school, but they provide our students get a graduate tuition scholarship. So it doesn't completely eliminate tuition fees, but it takes the bulk of it, and they pay for it, mainly because it's a priority for this institution to ensure that this program is successful and that the students who are accepted into this program have the best shot. They don't have to worry about the financial piece. It also helps that our president here is behind it 110%. So it is absolutely a priority that the graduate tuition scholarships are in place, and I know that we've already submitted the paperwork for the next cohort to come in, and we do that every fall. And so in terms of what's left, I know it's whatever is left in terms of fees. Kathy, what?
Well, you want to tell them about the special fee we have?
Well, you tell them.
Well, in order to continue the program, and the state giving us so much money,
Mm-hmm.
and the graduate tuition scholarship, we're still forced to require two $6,000 special fees on top of the tuition. And I can give you the exact amounts that we had for this cohort that just went through, but it still is very reasonable compared to what you may pay for a regular master's degree. So, but I want to make sure people know about and we split that $12,000 up, so it's two $6,000 charges. And then at the end, you're doing the last summer, which would be your third summer here. Your exam only, you're not taking any courses, so it's only $200 for graduation purposes.
And when
so
you
that's
start
nice.
teaching in here too, you get paid.
Yeah.
Because you're hired as a
Yeah.
teacher.
Right.
So
So you're only going summer to summer on that $30,000,
Exactly.
and then you're being paid for
Right.
teacher
Right.
in
salary.
the
So
classroom. So that gives you an idea. Any questions on that? Hopefully that would have been one of my burning questions. I think it's always the important.
and you
piece.
can either have the money distributed 2 times with $15,000. I mean,
Yeah, I think
it's
we're going to
like-
move, just so you know, I think we're going to move more to just the 2 times. We had a 3-time payment, but it seems like nobody was really using the 3 times, the 10, 10, 10. So I think for probably next year's class, don't hold me to this, it's being discussed in New Jersey, but everybody seems to be taking the 15 and the 15. So it's kind of like, okay, let's just do the 15 and 15. So yeah, and it's paid to you, and it's cash that's sent to you. And again, then the key is, as we've talked about, you keep your 3-year commitment, so we don't have to ask for the money back.
All right, for the application process, it requires 2 letters of recommendation.
I think it's 2 or 3.
Okay.
2. I think maybe it's 2.
And one of them asks for a professor that was in your major.
Yeah. And then I would encourage you on that second one to use somebody again from the outside, especially kind of what Teresa was talking about earlier, that really understands, your passion around hopefully becoming a teacher and educating children. I mean, we recognize that you know your subject matter, and that's what we hope to see is why you think teaching in this program is something would be a fit for you, and that's where I think where that second referral would be helpful as well, plus in your face-to-face interview.
And also, you can give other information. So any experience you've had with young adults or children, put that in. If you've been a soccer coach or help assistant something on
Exactly.
sports or church
Yeah,
or
you've
whatever.
done volunteer work, you've done any of those
Put all
things
those
are
down.
just-
Powerful information.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, because it can set you apart from other candidates. And, and we have, the actual percentage is just about 40% are career changers and 60% fresh out of college.
That's my question about the content area. Our students in the College of Technology, they'll take high-level calculus and 2 years of physics and all those things, but their content area might not be specifically biology, chemistry, or
Right.
it's more engineering principles, but they would be someone who would qualify in that way.
We will examine their transcript, and we do have a sheet that we follow where we look at some engineering courses and we say this engineering course counts toward this for mathematics, or
Mhm.
counts toward this for this subject. And then the departments themselves will review, because we look for, if you're biology, there's make sure all the different areas of biology
Right.
have at least something.
Right, that you've got a good solid background in the breadth of the content area, and I imagine it would be similar for chemistry and probably to some extent for the mathematics.
So we do look at that, but we've had really lots of engineering people that have, most have become math teachers. Couple have become physics teachers. And we had a technology deal, which in Indiana, it really causes some issues because it's the equivalent of the old shop classes. But we had to figure out, we have a lot of places that still teach the old shop class. And we have some that are teaching the project lead the way stuff, and then we have some that are teaching the tech stuff. And so to really prepare them for all, we felt like that was going to be a 2-year process. And those, we experimented with it, but it just didn't work out. I guess that's the best way to say it.
I understand.
Yeah.
What else?
And I would also mention to you, you have a unique situation here, obviously with our program director and all of the staff here. If you'd like to talk to a fellow who's going through the program, if you'd like to talk to a Purdue alumni, all of that can be made to happen, to just have a chance to, I mean, they are on campus right now, and if you wanted to have a cup of coffee with them or whatever you need to help you make this decision, all of us here are here to help you do that.
What question?
Oh, for math, I noticed that 460 is on the plan of study. But I was wondering about the algebra, like 453, that I know some math education undergrads take. Is that something that I'm going to have to work in as an elective or take prior to that? I don't know if that's too specific of a question, but...
You know, what I've seen happen is you'll sit down with our math person, and they'll go through your transcript, and you'll map out your courses that you'll take. But don't be shocked if geometry is one of them.
Yeah, geometry is pretty much a given.
Yeah.
But
ultimately, at the end of the day, your master's degree has to be a minimum of 30 credit hours. And so what has happened with the STEM Goes Rural program is they've really aligned those courses and developed new courses as part of this program to ensure that it meets those 30 hours, but that you're also getting those teaching methods that you need throughout and specific to that content area that you're targeting for teaching. But that's why, you know, some of these electives, when you sit down with an advisor, if you've kind of have some of these courses, it might be that they would direct you to take something else that would allow you to grow and develop and become even more effective. But ultimately, it comes down to getting that teaching methods in there, and then a total of 30 credit hours to meet the master's requirement. And that's for everybody. Everybody has to do 30 hours. When the committee looks at an application, they're looking at the best fit. And so, you know, if you've got a strong chemistry background and chemistry is what you want to teach, even though you may have graduated in a different area, that's all going to count. Because we want to make sure that the students who go through this have a strong content background and a desire to teach in that content area. So I would be worried if you graduated in basket weaving and wanted to teach chemistry, but these are kind of related.
Right.
Awesome. What else you got? Anything else?
Is there any sort of test that we need to have completed before the application?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't think so.
no, we have a basic skills test that's called CASA now, reading, writing, and math type. But we kind of suggest wait until you're admitted or accepted into the program, and then this summer you can get the CASA in, and you may be able to get a content. You have to take a content test. We don't require it before you start Purdue in the summer. We always say it's a good thing to get it out of the way, though, in the summer, so you don't wait until fall and then have all your more classes and more field experiences and things like that. So, and we have an orientation in the summer before classes start. It's a couple of days. We give you a lot of information. We give you a notebook, and it has stuff in here about testing. So we go over that, and then a lot of people once they're admitted, will contact me and ask about the testing because they want to do it earlier even. So I give you the information at that time. Yeah, and so there's no, I would wait because you don't want to go ahead and test and then find out if there's a problem, you know, with being accepted here, and then, you know, I don't want you to waste your money. So
Yeah.
wait.
So
There's
otherwise,
plenty
no,
of time
no,
to do
you don't
that
need to take one before you start.
in the summer or
Yeah.
early fall.
Yeah,
That's
let's get you
fine.
into the program.
You do have to have that content test definitely passed by the time you with student teach in the spring.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And that's with all of our teacher aides.
Yeah. But yeah, and it's needed for a license, so that's
Yeah.
state rule. But I, you know, being that you guys are content experts, I don't imagine that that's going to be much of
No,
an
I
issue.
don't think it'd be. We always have people pass
Oh, yeah.
easily, so it's not a major hurdle there.
Well, know that, you know, if any questions do come up, that any of us are more than happy to answer your questions. And, you know, we can sit down and talk one-on-one if you like, and we can even, like Eric was indicating, that, you know, we can find, you know, students who are in the current cohort, if you want to chat with them and say, okay, give me the real scoop as to what this is like. And, yeah, happy to do that. And one of the things I can tell you is that we have, we've provided space on campus for the students to kind of find as a home base, so they have an office. And so the current cohort, right now, they're located over in Evelyn.
Evelyn, 115.
Yep. And John, are you teaching, doing class seminars in there? So they all have their desk in there, and he'll come over and do a seminar in the office with all the students who are in the cohort. But that's something that we also have, is that you have a home base, you have an office here on campus that you can go and study between classes if you like. And it's a nice, it's just nice. You don't have to go run home to study. You can actually do it here on campus. So.
Or be in the attic of recitation like
Exactly.
we were in history.
That's right, yeah. Not there. So it's
I have some exciting news for Purdue.
What?
We have our first husband and wife application, two
Really?
separate applications, and they want to come to Purdue.
Oh.
Wow, that's
Cool.
exciting.
We've never had a husband and wife. Now, they would get $60,000, which is probably.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah, so
Wow.
it was, but we got our first application, joint application, two applications. Husband, we think that's pretty cool.
That is neat.
Yeah.
Well, y'all, thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
coming in.
Yeah,
Like I
thank you
said,
all.
don't hesitate to contact any of us if you have questions.